If you master one skill this year, let it be knowing the difference between investing and gambling. Hello friends, welcome back to Mind Fuel. By the end of this video, you'll think about money in a way that changes everything. Most people lose money in the market for one simple reason. They confuse speculation with investing. Today you'll learn the difference forever. Picture this. Two neighbors, Tom and Richard, both invest $10,000 in 1990. Tom chases hot stock tips from coworkers. Richard follows a simple, boring system. 30 years later, Richard is a millionaire. Tom lost half his money twice. Same market. Same opportunities. Completely different outcomes. Why? The answer isn't intelligence. It isn't luck either. The answer is temperament. How you think about risk and time. That's the entire message of The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. Graham wasn't just a writer. He was Warren Buffett's teacher at Columbia Business School. Buffett has called this the best book on investing ever written. First published in 1949, it still outsells books written last year. Why does a book this old still matter? Because markets change. But human psychology never does. Fear and greed drove investors in 1929. Fear and greed drove investors in 2008. Fear and greed will drive the next crash too. Graham figured out how to protect yourself from both. This book is for anyone with money to invest. You don't need to be rich. You don't need a finance degree. You just need discipline and patience. Here's a question to sit with. What if the biggest risk to your money isn't the market at all? What if it's you? Keep that question in mind. We'll answer it before this video ends. Chapter 1. Investment versus speculation. Graham opens with a critical distinction most people never learn. An investment promises safety of principal and an adequate return. Anything else is speculation, dressed up to look safer than it is. Why does this matter so much? Because most investors are actually speculators without realizing it. Think about Jake, a 34-year-old teacher from Ohio. Jake bought a stock because a forum said it would moon. He didn't study the company. He didn't check its earnings. That's not investing. That's a bet with extra steps. Real investing means thorough analysis first. You study a company's financials. You check if the price makes sense. You demand safety before chasing returns. The takeaway here is simple. Before buying anything, ask yourself one question. Am I investing or am I gambling with a nicer word? Start applying this today. Write down why you're buying before you buy. If you can't explain the reason in 2 sentences, don't buy it. This single shift already puts you ahead of most market participants. But Graham goes deeper. He wants you to understand the market itself. Chapter 2. The investor in inflation. Money sitting in cash quietly loses value every single year. Inflation is the silent thief nobody warned you about. Graham explains that intelligent investors must protect against this erosion. Cash feels safe. It isn't. $1 today buys less next year. Consider Linda, a nurse from Manchester, saving diligently in a savings account. 10 years later, her money buys noticeably less than before. She didn't lose money on paper. She lost purchasing power in real life. Graham's answer isn't panic. It's balance. Stocks historically outpace inflation better than cash sitting idle. The lesson is clear. Protecting your money means growing it, not just storing it. Practical action. Review where your savings actually sit right now. Is it working or just surviving? This concern about inflation leads naturally into Graham's next big idea. How should the market's constant movement affect your decisions? Chapter 3. A century of stock market history. Graham reviews decades of market cycles here. Booms follow busts. Busts follow booms. This pattern repeats endlessly. Why include history in an investing book? Because history reveals patterns emotion tries to hide. Take the story of the 1929 crash. Investors believed prices would rise forever. Then everything collapsed within days. Confidence became devastation almost overnight. Graham's point isn't to predict the next crash. It's to prepare you emotionally for volatility. Markets swing. That's not a bug. It's the system working normally. The takeaway: expect volatility, and it won't destroy your confidence later. Emotional preparation matters as much as financial preparation. Practically, this means never investing money you'll need within 5 years. Give your investments room to recover from dips. Understanding history sets the stage for Graham's most famous concept. Meet a character who represents the entire market. Chapter 4. General Portfolio Policy, the Defensive Investor. Graham introduces two investor types here. The defensive investor wants safety and minimal effort. The enterprising investor wants higher returns through active work. Most people, Graham argues, should choose the defensive path. Why? Because most people don't have time, skill, or temperament for active investing. Meet Sarah, a busy architect from Toronto with 3 kids. She doesn't have hours to research individual stocks. Graham designed his advice specifically for people like Sarah. His core recommendation: split your money between stocks and bonds. A common mix is 60% stocks, 40% bonds. Rebalance occasionally. Stay diversified. Avoid complexity. The takeaway is freedom through simplicity. You don't need to beat the market to build wealth. Action step: assess honestly which investor type describes you. Most readers, Graham insists, are defensive investors, and that's perfectly fine. But what about those willing to put in extra effort? Graham has different rules for them entirely. Chapter 5. General Portfolio Policy, the Enterprising Investor. The enterprising investor accepts more work for potentially higher rewards. This isn't about excitement. It's about disciplined extra effort. Graham warns this path demands serious commitment. Half effort here is dangerous, not rewarding. Consider Marcus, a former enterprising investor from Chicago. He researched companies deeply, checking financial statements every quarter. His extra work paid off, but only because he stayed disciplined. Graham's rule stands firm. Enterprising investing without real effort becomes reckless speculation instead. The lesson: choose your path honestly, then commit fully to it. Half measures combine the worst of both worlds. Practical step: if choosing this path, dedicate real weekly time to research. Otherwise, default back to the defensive approach instead. This distinction between investor types sets up Graham's next crucial warning. What exactly makes the market so unpredictable day to day? Chapter 6. Mr. Market. Here Graham introduces his most unforgettable metaphor. Imagine the market as a business partner named Mr. Market. Every day, Mr. Market offers to buy or sell shares. Some days he's euphoric, offering absurdly high prices. Other days he's depressed, offering absurdly low prices. Here's the twist: you're never obligated to trade with him. You can ignore him completely whenever his mood seems irrational. Picture David, an investor from Melbourne, watching prices swing wildly during earnings season. Instead of panicking, David remembers Mr. Market's personality. He waits patiently for irrational fear to create opportunity. The takeaway is powerful. The market exists to serve you, not to instruct you. Practical application: next time prices crash suddenly, ask yourself something important. Is this real danger, or just Mr. Market's mood swing? This mindset shift prepares you for Graham's next essential concept, one that protects you from every market mistake. Chapter 7. The Margin of Safety. This is the single most important concept in the entire book. Margin of safety means buying value, not just price. Why does this matter above everything else? Because even good analysis can be wrong sometimes. Imagine buying a company you calculate is worth $100 per share. Instead of paying $100, you wait and pay $70. That $30 gap protects you if your estimate was slightly wrong. Graham compares this to building a bridge rated for 30,000 pounds. You'd never drive a truck weighing exactly that much across it. You want buffer room for error. Consider Priya, an investor from London who only buys stocks trading below their calculated value. When her analysis occasionally misses, her buffer absorbs the mistake. She rarely suffers serious losses. The takeaway is simple: never pay full price for uncertain estimates. Demand a discount for being human. Practical action: before buying any stock, calculate its estimated value first. Then only buy if the price sits meaningfully below that number. This principle protects your money. But how do you actually calculate what a company is worth? Graham answers that next. Chapter 8. Security Analysis for the Lay Investor. Graham breaks down how to evaluate a company without needing a finance degree. A few key numbers reveal enormous information. Why simplify something so complex? Because Graham believed ordinary investors deserved real tools too. Start with earnings history. A company should show consistent profits across many years, not just one lucky quarter. Next, check debt levels. Companies drowning in debt collapse quickly during downturns. Low debt means resilience. Consider James, a retired teacher from Sydney, learning to read financial statements for the first time. Within weeks, he could spot warning signs other investors missed entirely. The takeaway: you don't need complexity to invest wisely. You need a handful of reliable metrics, checked consistently. Practical step: before buying any stock, review 5 years of earnings and debt levels. Consistency matters more than excitement. With these tools, Graham moves toward his final major teaching. What happens when everything you've learned gets tested by real market chaos? Chapter 9. Stock market fluctuations. Prices move constantly, often for reasons unrelated to actual business value. Graham insists you must separate price from worth. A stock price reflects momentary opinion, nothing more. A company's actual value changes far slower than its stock price. Remember Tom from our opening story? He sold in panic every time prices dropped sharply. Richard, meanwhile, checked company fundamentals instead of daily prices. Graham's advice here is almost radical in its simplicity. Ignore daily price movements entirely. Check your investments quarterly, not constantly. The takeaway: your emotions are the real threat, not market volatility itself. Price swings only hurt you if you react emotionally. Practical action: delete that stock tracking app from your phone today. Check your portfolio monthly, not obsessively. This calm, disciplined approach is what separates lasting wealth from constant financial anxiety. The complete payoff. Remember our question from the beginning: what's the biggest risk to your money? It was never the market. It was always you. Graham's entire philosophy rests on one radical idea: your temperament matters more than your intelligence. Tom lost money because fear and excitement controlled his decisions. Richard built wealth because discipline and patience controlled his. The market will always swing between euphoria and despair. Mr. Market will always offer you strange, emotional deals. Your job isn't predicting his moods. Your job is staying rational when he isn't. Graham's closing message is beautifully simple. Investing isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most disciplined person in the room. Here's one action you can take today. Calculate the actual value of one stock you own. Then compare it honestly to its current price. That single exercise starts building the intelligent investor inside you. If this video changed how you see money, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Mindfuel for more life-changing book breakdowns. Comment below with your biggest takeaway from today.